Hi guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm the little talked about Captain Foley.
And I was here once, but never again, Commander Cookins. And we're going to talk about the daughter and brother of Data.
That's right, we're talking about Lore and Lao today.
No, I thought we were talking
why?
about Eobard, whatever his name was, and Daj and Soji and Sutra and all these people. Oh, wait. He had other brother and other daughter? What? But they weren't mentioned in Picard Season 1.
Funny thing that AI Soon, I forget his name, Alton something,
Yes, Alton.
wasn't mentioned in TNG, even in the episode Brothers, which would have been a perfect ideal time to do so. Or why wasn't Lore and Lal mentioned? Lal specifically, because I mean it's mentioned, it's Data's daughter. He drew a painting, or he painted a painting called Daughter, which looked similar to the Lal character. And we're wondering why it wasn't. Perhaps it's going to be brought up in season 2. We thought for a hot minute there that Soon might in fact be Lore.
It would make more sense.
Might make Lore sense, not more sense. In fact, it could still be. I've heard some people saying that perhaps he is still Lore, just in a new body or whatever. And it'll be revealed in season 2. I mean, I didn't like him when we first saw him in episode 9. But by episode 10, by the end of that, I did like him. I did like his character. So I'm hoping that he's not a bad guy, but I would like some mention of Lore. What happened to Lore? He got disassembled at the end of Descent, and we never knew what happened to him.
And just about the Sun guy. Well, he's not a good guy because he did, without any hesitation, happily kill the entire universe. So he's not a good guy. He does look after himself and his children. He's very, very similar to the Sun we got in Enterprise, where until he realizes they're not good enough, that he's failed, he's happy to kill all life, have to kill the entire Klingon colony, whatever. He was slightly nicer, but he always justified and saved the augments first. But this Sun literally was going to happily destroy the galaxy, let Sutra do her own thing, no problem, and have a synth body to get out of the apocalypse. So not a good guy for sure. But he did sacrifice his first golem for Picard, though he's obviously going to make a second one very easily. Fundamentally, the reason Lal and Data weren't mentioned in a season about Data's offspring, more Data's synthetic life, and another brother, is that they didn't want to pay the rights holders, the license holders. Now, the reason I say that, and we've actually discussed this with CBS when we talked about the show, using anything from any show involves the rights issues. Now, for the most part, they own the license of Star Trek, but it doesn't mean they own the rights to certain characters and themes. There's a reason why in Doctor Who they have to do a Dalek episode every couple of years, because otherwise the rights go back to the owner and they have to pay them more money. There's just reasons for that. Same with other films. Sometimes you see a film be rushed out because they have to use this property, otherwise it goes back to the whatever. So, and especially in older Trek, in TOS and TNG, they were not as good about. Well, they were good to the authors, the owners of the intellectual property that invented the scripts, but not necessarily to the company. And so, the LOL character is in an episode. That episode is written by somebody, which means that person is the owner of that character in that context. We saw that in TNG. They didn't want to pay the Sherlock Holmes. They didn't pay Sherlock Holmes rights. Got in trouble. Didn't want to pay the other ones. They ignored the Data Sherlock Holmes until later seasons, and they've changed some other stuff to other stuff. So I think probably they didn't want to pay the author of the episode, who probably owns that character, or potentially Lore, that same thing. We can tell Picard was made on a cheap budget, even though it was the biggest budget. They clearly spent it on things like producers and such.
Perfect example of that, though, is Tom Paris. I mean, he should have been the same character that he was in TNG. I forget his name in TNG. But again, had to change. He is essentially the same person. And he was supposed to be that guy. But they changed his name simply because they didn't want to pay the royalties for the name.
Thank you. And that was, mid-90s, all that stuff. That should have been easy. And obviously that would have been a series regular to have to pay the person more every time. So that made a little more sense. But, I mean, yes, it might cost you 7,000, 12,000, 15,000 to mention Lal, but it's like, how can you not do that? Even in the Ready Room, the actress that plays, the daughters of Data mentions Lal very early in the interview. And you think, well, she knew about Lal, so her favourite episode was Offspring. And it's weirdly absent. And yet they can mention the Flounder, all these odd, to Con Empire, all these unique references.
Flaughter. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, Naomi Wildman's, I love the reference.
You said Fonder, so I was like, what?
Well, no,
yeah, The Adventures of Flaughter, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So why are you mentioning the unimportant stuff, the Voyager teleporter, the stuff that's like, oh, cool, and not the most important reference to the entire thing?
It would have been a perfect story element for Maddox to have taken a shortcut with Lore's engrams, because they're close enough to Data's. They're pretty much identical.
Well, Sung says they are identical, it's just software.
Yeah. Well, exactly, yeah. So why didn't Maddox take a shortcut with that? Because Lore was already disassembled by Starfleet. He was head of Daystrom Institute. He'd have access to that. He had access to before. So maybe out of a sense of frustration after the synth ban, he resorted to the one thing he was probably advised not to do by Data, and that's use Lore's engrams. Would have been a perfect tie-in. And that's kind of what was speculated throughout all of season 1, and it was never followed up on. In that case, I can see them being quiet about the name, just as, well, people have forgotten. It's been 20 years. We're not going to mention it. And then, surprise, Lore's here. And that's why we had that video is suing Lore at before the last episode, because it was a very good setup, and it could have been a good payoff.
Well, it felt so obvious. Once you start, like, just laying out the facts, it's like everything there leads to it, you know, and having Sutra go all homicidal instantly. Well, yeah, if some of the Loreanisms came through, you know, in Descent, he explicitly says, we're better than organic life, la la la. I mean, that'd be the most beautiful tie-in. He took both engrams off Lore and B4, and he made different androids and different ones to try and give them more personality, because he didn't just want all the androids to be based on Data's. And, you know, Sutra was one, and Daj and Soji were based on Data's, so you could have Data through B4, but you could have this nice sense of some children are based on the evil stepbrother, and it's just really strange. And you would think but Patrick and Picard would just at one point say, oh, is it like LOL? No, more advanced than LOL. Oh, interesting. Done. Or wouldn't it be kind of nice if in the Hollow museum, the archives, if with the painting in the first episode, if there'd been like a little picture of LOL, like a little Polaroid on the painting, as you know, it was archived together.
Actually, wasn't there a line where Picard at one point says he always wanted a daughter or something?
Yes.
And that's like, he didn't necessarily want a daughter. He built Lal to make up her own mind what she wanted to be, even as far as not just appearance, but gender and species.
But obviously he didn't, because otherwise he would have made another Lal years down the line. From that, I mean, that was mid-TNG to Nemesis. That's another 15, 18 years. And then in All Good Things, he didn't have a daughter. I mean, it wasn't mentioned, but you would think that would, you know, if it was that important. Again, these are retcons within retcons. Or wouldn't it have been kind of nice, weirdly nice, if they said Lore got destroyed for the ban? So first episode, he's with Jurati, and he says, "What about Lore?" No, he was forcibly destroyed based on his relationship with Starfleet. And what about B4? No, his engrams all degraded. And then later on, we're trying to work out, well, how was Data created? And then Maddox says, oh, I use LOL's engrams. Data saved them, and they were in a sub-archive that only Data had access to, and that was part of his will, was to send them to me. And I was using, like, Data Next Gen, and that's why they're where they are. They're not quite right, because obviously she would have to have positronic engrams. Where did the LOL stuff go? I mean, that would have been perfect, and that would have been a great, like, dum at the end. They're all based on LOL's. So actually, their Data's grandchildren, which would be kind of cute.
Lore being destroyed would have been good, because it would have been, because Lore was already so established as being dangerous. He was taken away by Section 31 to be destroyed, and then like, was he destroyed? Was he? Are they using it? Like, that would have been a nice little.
Yeah. Jurati could have said. Yes, and it's very strange, Picard. One night, these people in black uniforms took Lore's body. That was it. That's all I ever heard of it. I assume they destroyed it, and then season 2 he can come back. Because I do think though that I feel like they're setting up Lore to come back in season 2. Even Brent saying, "I'm not going to play Data again." He said he's happy to play like other Sungs, but there's no reason to say Lore didn't want to. Lore didn't, as we said in our other video, Lore didn't add a synth organic version to his body to make himself look human and then allow himself to age so that he wouldn't look like, that's why him being the AI son, whatever, that made so much sense. Technically Brent said I won't play Data again. Lore has all these other unique personality traits. Bugs me, but I do think there's just a legal license. I mean, they didn't want to pay to mention Lore and Lal.
And that's dumb.
It's a shame, given this most expensive Trek show ever made, it looks like one of the cheapest Trek shows ever made, especially the last couple of episodes.
I think it's going to be a big part of season 2, because now Picard is one, and they're reestablishing synth presence in the Federation. So, what do you guys think? What do you think lore should have been mentioned? Same with WoW, or are they going to be mentioned in season 2? Let us know your thoughts, conspiracy theories, ideas down below. We love listening to them, and we love having conversations like this. So if you can join in, please do. Speaking of joining in, you can help us with super chats when we do our lives. We do lives all the time where we talk about topics like this, and you can support the channel by joining and coming in with a super chat. It's a great way to help us out. Or joining the channel. There's a join button there. You can join the rank of Commander, Captain, or Admiral. And it's a way to support the channel on a monthly basis, much like Patreon. It's another way. Patreon/Trekyards. You can head over there if you want to support us. Or just use any of the links down below in the description of all the videos. We have Teespring store. We got a bunch of cool stuff. You can head on over to trekyards.com and click the donate button. Or you can just hit us up on PayPal anytime. The PayPal information is down below as well. So lots of great ways to help us out and be part of the conversation. Sorry.
Yes, but the free way, of course, is just liking, subscribing, commenting, and like you said, joining. Those lives are important to us, and we get to talk with you guys, and you guys do have some brilliant things to say. And that is all free. All our content is free. But support us if you can. But if not, just enjoy for free.
And the typical YouTuber thing, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz.
Bell notification.
All. Did we miss any? Probably. Anyway, guys.
See you next time.
Until next time, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Holmes. Bye, guys.